My heart stopped for 47 seconds. I know the exact number because the doctors told me later. What they didn't tell me, what no one could really explain, was what I felt during those 47 seconds. It was a Tuesday. Rain against the windows, the kind that turns the city gray and quiet. My coffee was already cold. There was a stack of reports to my right, a blinking cursor on my screen, and a meeting in 10 minutes that I was already late for in my head. We were arguing about numbers. Always numbers. Deadlines, forecasts, projections. Important thing. Or at least they felt important.
My chest tightened, not like in the movies. No dramatic clutching, just a strange pressure, as if someone had put a heavy book right in the middle of my lungs. I ignored it. Then my left hand started to feel distant, like it wasn't really part of me anymore. The room went slightly out of focus, like someone was slowly turning a dial. I remember thinking, very calmly, this is not how a normal Tuesday is supposed to feel. And then I was gone. Later, they told me my heart had stopped for 47 seconds. 47 seconds? That's less than a minute. It was almost the same amount of time I usually spent deciding which email to answer first in the morning. I woke up to the sound of a machine beeping, a steady, mechanical rhythm. My mouth was dry, my chest felt heavy. My wife was sitting in a chair next to the bed, holding my hand like she was afraid I might disappear again if she let go. She tried to smile, her eyes didn't. The doctor used the word serious cardiac episode. He explained it in a careful, professional voice. But what he really meant was simple. My heart had decided to quit before I did. They told me I was lucky, and in a strange, uncomfortable way, they were right. Because lying there, staring at a ceiling tile with a tiny crack that looked like a river on a map, I realized something I had spent decades avoiding. I had no distractions, no phone, no emails, no meetings, no noise, just silence, and my own thoughts, and that was worse than the pain. I'm 74 years old now, but the story I'm telling you didn't start that day. It started much earlier, in a much quieter way. I grew up in a house where being responsible was more important than being happy. My father worked, my mother worried, and the message was simple and constant. Don't take risks, don't waste time, don't disappoint anyone. So I didn't. I became good at school, not because I loved learning, but because I was terrified of failing. I learned very early that praise feels like safety, and that approval can start to feel like love. That lesson stayed with me for the rest of my life. Then came work, and I was good at it. I was always the first one in the office and the last one to leave. Not because anyone asked me to, but because I thought that's what serious people did. That's what winners did. People used to say, "You're a machine." I took it as a compliment. Years started passing faster than I expected. I got married, bought a small place, then a bigger one, then a better car, then better furniture. With every upgrade, I told myself, now I'm getting somewhere. But the feeling never lasted. I was always tired, but I wore that tiredness like a medal. Do you know how many work emails I sent in the year before my heart attack? 8,347. Do you know how many times I remember telling my wife I love you that year? I honestly couldn't tell you, and that should scare you as much as it scares me. By the time I was in my 50s, my life ran like a perfectly organized machine. Wake up, commute, meetings, emails, more meetings, commute back, dinner in front of the TV, fall asleep thinking about tomorrow's problems, repeat. I told myself this was what a good responsible life looked like. Then came that Tuesday. Rain, cold coffee, a blinking cursor, and 47 seconds without a heartbeat. While I was in the hospital, one thought kept coming back again and again, like an annoying song you can't turn off. If I had died right there, what would my life have actually been? A job title that would be replaced in a month. A house full of things someone else would have to decide what to do with. A calendar that was always full and a heart that was always empty. That was the first time I allowed myself to say something out loud, even if only in my head. I had confused being busy with being alive. Let me tell you the biggest lie you're probably telling yourself right now. I still have time. I said that sentence in 1,000 different ways. I'll travel when things calm down. I'll take better care of myself next year. I'll fix that relationship when work is less demanding. I'll spend more time with my kids after this phase. But here is the truth nobody likes to admit. Life never really calms down. It just changes its excuses. I spent more than 30 years running in circles, like a dog chasing its own tail, always moving, always tired, and at the end of the day, still in the same place, just more dizzy. And the cruel part is this: time doesn't wait for you to figure it out. It just keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. When I left the hospital, everyone treated me differently. My wife watched me like I was made of glass. My colleagues spoke to me in that careful, uncomfortable tone people use when they don't know whether to joke or whisper. And I did what I had always done. I went back to work. Not immediately. The doctor said, take it slow. I promised I would. And for about 2 weeks, I actually tried. Then one morning I woke up, put on my old suit, and felt something very close to relief, normal again, that should have scared me more than the heart attack. Here's something nobody likes to say out loud. Most of us don't actually want to change. We want a scare big enough to remind us that we're alive, and then we want to go back to the exact same life. I remember sitting in my office a month after the hospital, staring at my calendar. It was full. Every hour had a name. Every day had a purpose. And instead of feeling proud, I felt tired, deeply tired, the kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. That was when a thought crossed my mind that made me feel almost ashamed. What if this is all there is? I had spent my entire adult life chasing something I couldn't even clearly describe anymore. More, better, higher, faster. Like a race where nobody ever shows you the finish line. People love to talk about success. Let me tell you something that will sound wrong at first. Success is a terrible life goal. And I say that as someone who achieved most of the things he once dreamed about. You reach a milestone and you feel proud. For a day, maybe 2, then it fades. Suddenly, that thing you wanted so badly becomes normal, invisible, and your mind immediately starts looking for the next mountain to climb. More money, more recognition, a bigger title, a bigger title. It's like drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. I had a friend named Richard. We started our careers around the same time. He was brilliant, disciplined, unstoppable. Built a company from nothing, worked 70 hours a week like it was a point of pride. He used to laugh and say, "I'll rest when I'm dead." He meant it as a joke. Next year never came for him. He had a stroke at 60 at his funeral. His daughter stood in front of everyone and said, "My father gave us everything, except his time." There was no anger in her voice, just a quiet sadness, the kind that stays in a room long after people leave. That sentence followed me home. It followed me to bed. It followed me to work. Your biggest regrets won't be about the things you tried and failed at. They'll be about the things you never tried at all. I don't lie awake thinking about deals that didn't work or promotions I didn't get. I lie awake thinking about the trip to Japan I kept postponing, the guitar in the corner that I never learned to play, the book idea that lived in my head for 20 years and never made it to paper. I think about the dinners I skipped, the walks I postponed, the conversations I said I'd have someday. You think you have unlimited time with the people you love. You don't. My father died when I was in my 40s. We had the kind of relationship that always feels unfinished, not bad, not good, just unresolved. We were both busy. We were both tired. We were both waiting for a better moment to really talk. That moment never came. I was in a meeting when my phone started vibrating on the table. I ignored it. Then it vibrated again and again. When I finally looked, it was already too late. Heart attack, gone within hours. Do you know what my biggest regret is? Not some big argument, not some dramatic last conversation. It's all the ordinary days I didn't call, all the Sundays I said I was too tired to drive over, all the times I chose something that didn't matter over someone who did. After the funeral, I stood in his empty house, looking at his chair, his mug, his old jacket hanging by the door, and I thought, this is what's left. There won't always be more time. That thought followed me for weeks, and still, I was afraid to change. Because here's the part nobody puts in motivational speeches. Changing your life doesn't feel brave at first. It feels irresponsible. It feels like you're about to disappoint everyone. I remember telling a colleague I was thinking about stepping back a little. He laughed and said, "Are you retiring already?" Not cruelly, just surprised. Even my family wasn't sure. "Are you okay?" my wife asked. "You've always worked like this." And the honest answer was, I was scared. Scared of becoming irrelevant. Scared of looking weak. Scared of admitting that maybe I had been wrong for a very long time. And here's the funny part. Some people at work really did think I had lost my mind. Maybe I had. The first real change I made wasn't heroic. It was small. The Tuesday after I decided to try living differently, I canceled a meeting. Just one. My calendar looked strange with an empty space in it, and I took my 6-year-old grandson to the zoo. It was sunny. He insisted on seeing the lions first. He held my hand the entire time. Not because he was afraid, just because that's what children do when they trust you. I honestly can't remember the last time someone had held my hand like that. We spent 3 hours there. I don't remember what emails I didn't answer that morning, but I remember the way he laughed when the penguins fell into the water. That was when something very quiet, but very important, changed inside me. After that day at the zoo, something small but stubborn started to grow inside me. It wasn't motivation, it wasn't excitement, it was awareness. I started noticing things I had trained myself not to see. The way mornings have a smell, the way my wife hums when she thinks nobody is listening, the way silence feels different when you're not in a hurry. I also started noticing how uncomfortable it was to be present. When you stop running, your mind gets loud. You start hearing questions you've been avoiding for years. Who am I without my job? What do I do if nobody needs me urgently? Was all that effort actually for something, or just away from something? I didn't change everything at once. That's a lie people like to tell. Real change is slower, more awkward. At first, I just started leaving the office earlier. People noticed. Doctor's orders, someone joked. Something like that, I said. The truth was, I didn't know how to explain it yet. I started cooking one night a week. Badly, at first. My wife said the smoke alarm was my most consistent seasoning. We laughed more in those weeks than we had in years. I started walking in the mornings, not to be efficient, not to track anything, just to walk. I started calling people instead of sending messages. Some were surprised, some were suspicious, some were quietly happy. And yes, some people drifted away. That's another thing nobody tells you. When you change, not everyone comes with you, and that's okay. I began to realize how strange my old life had been. I used to plan my weeks like military operations and my years like business strategies. Now I started planning them like memories, a trip instead of a purchase, a dinner instead of an obligation, a conversation instead of another hour of work. And the world didn't collapse. The company survived. The emails waited. Nothing important broke, except one illusion that I was indispensable. I wasn't, and neither are you. What you are is replaceable at work, but you are not replaceable at home. Not to the people who love you. Over time, something else happened. I started feeling lighter, not younger. Not richer, just lighter. Like I had been carrying a heavy backpack for decades and finally put it down without realizing how heavy it was. I traveled not in a rushed, checklist way. Slowly, I sat in cafes. I watched people. I got lost on purpose. I went to places I had been saving for someday. I stopped saving them. I started saying I love you more often. Out loud. Not in my head. Not in a hurry. And something surprising happened. Life didn't become smaller. It became deeper. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly, even if only to yourself. If you died tomorrow, not someday, not years from now, tomorrow, would you be satisfied with the life you've lived so far? Not impressed, not proud, satisfied. If the answer is no, then what exactly are you waiting for? A calmer phase? More money, more time, permission. Here's the uncomfortable truth. There will always be a reason to wait. Life is messy, complicated, noisy. The perfect moment is a story we tell ourselves to stay where we are. I have grandchildren now. When I look at them, I see the same hurry I lived in for most of my life. The same pressure, the same invisible race. They're anxious, they're tired, they're always going somewhere. I try to tell them what I've learned. I know they don't really hear me. I didn't hear people like me either. You don't respect time until you feel how fast it can disappear. Every single day, you are making a trade. You are trading hours of your life for something. Make sure it's not for things you won't even remember. If I could talk to my younger self, I wouldn't talk about careers or money or success. I would say this: stop waiting. Call your parents more. Sit longer at the table. Take the trip before you're ready. Do the thing that scares you a little. Stop trying to impress people who won't be there at the end. And most of all, don't confuse being busy with being alive. Start now, not next year, not after this phase, not when things calm down now. Because one day, sooner than you think, you'll wake up and realize you've been living in preparation for a life that already passed. I'm 74. If I'm lucky, I might have 10, maybe 15 more good years, maybe less. And I'm okay with that, because these last years have been the richest of my life, not because I made more money, but because I finally started living on purpose. I started paying attention. I started choosing.
If this message meant something to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about. Leave a comment and tell me what you're going to change. And subscribe, because I still have a few truths left to tell, and not as much time as I once thought.